Thank you so much, Lupo. I would first of all like to thank you, Furio, Fiamma, all the family for believing in this project since the very beginning. It was not easy. It has been really challenging and demanding on our team at Accademia in every sense. So I'm fully grateful with my colleague Adrien Roberts to the family of Accademia, the owning family and the rest of the family of Accademia that really put themselves so much into it. But I don't want to take too much time out of our presenters that have come from abroad to illustrate their thoughts about the theme of the day. And I would like, first of all, to introduce you Ian King, which is the real soul of the Fashion Colloquia series, the man without whom this Fashion Colloquium wouldn't even be possible. So, Ian, if you would like to give us some information about what Fashion Colloquia are, because not all of our audience is aware of the origins of these conventions.
Good morning. Is this on? Yeah, it's good. I am not associated with anyone here, so like you, I've just arrived and at this beautiful city of Rome, and how lucky we are to be here. So let me tell you about the Fashion Colloquia. The Fashion Colloquia series is actually described in the booklet in much more detail, so I won't repeat that too much. But it's a series that have been now, I think there's been 15 of these around the world. The first 4 were associated with the fashion weeks in Milan, in Paris, in London, and New York. So we had these 4, which was the starting point. And the idea really was to kind of look at fashion and to see what it could do in relating academia with media and industry itself, with practice itself. And they went very well. And the plan was at the time we would finish after the first 4, as it says there in the booklet. But people said it was really good to open up these conversations around the world. So, and you know, an important variable for it was to make it free, to make it so that people from any background could come along and to be part of it, to be part of this community. So we wanted to continue that. So we've had now another 11 of those across the world over the last 4 or 5 years, from all parts of the world, from North America to South America to Asia to Europe, all over the place. And we've been very lucky to have some really interesting discussions around the world. And now we reach Rome, and this is the final one of this series, where we've been talking about emergence of fashion weeks and how the fashion industry has matured into what we see today. And on tomorrow we talk about the next one in the series, which is a new series, and that's going to be on responsibility, and that really reflects our vision that fashion has grown up. And it's taken on a new form of identity. And the next one we will be in Jaipur in India, and we will talk about that tomorrow. So we also have more projects about the Silk Road, which we can talk about, or I can talk about with you individually in the following years that will follow that. And we also have an invitation to go back to Africa. So there's lots of things going on, and I'm just so grateful that you've come along and joined us here today. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ian. I would like to say, obviously, welcome to Rome, my home, my adopted family for Accademia. I'm very privileged to be welcoming you. And I have in front of me my fashion education family as well. So many of you have inspired me over the years and worked with me for decades. And we are very privileged to have this tight community of fashion education. And I hope you all feel a part of it. In the day of communication of internet, it is so vitally important we have these conversations. I think already in the first hour this morning, we've been making connections and having international conversations that you could never have via internet. So thank you so much for traveling, getting planes, taxis, buses, whatever it takes to get here. It is a great privilege for us to have you here in Rome. And taking that time to travel is so important to us. So let's continue having international conversations. No walls and no exits will ever separate us. We have bigger ideas and bigger fish to fry.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, Adrien. Okay, I get the boring side of it. Just going through the program very rapidly, also because we have some last-minute changes, so I wanted just to update you. As you know, this morning we will have 5 presentations from our speakers that have been selected by our scientific committee. After that, they will have only 10 minutes each, and Adrien, Ian, and I will be the bad ones, chairing them in order to make sure that they stay into the 10 minutes, because we think it's more effective to have a short, intense presentation, and also because we decided in this venue not to overlap presentation in order to put more people, so that the audience should have chosen one talk or another. We selected just a few. A few, I wouldn't say really a few, a number of papers across more than 70 received. I'm sorry, thank you. And these are sunglasses as well, but it's a bit too shiny for me. After that, we will have a lunch break. Just a service information, there is a coffee shop and restaurant on the other side of the venue. Then at 2:30, from 15:30, we will have the panel Predicting the Future of Fashion Heritage as a Tool, where we are very honored and glad to welcome Raffaello Napoleone, Giovanna Gentile Ferragamo, Sara Sozzani Maino, and Antonio Mancinelli that will chair the session. Unfortunately, Carlo Capasa advised us he cannot join us because he's sick, so I wanted to announce that before. Then we will have a break and a very intense afternoon where we will have other presentations. We will miss actually 2 from that. From Sandra Nissen and Simonetta Buffo will not be able to join us. And then there will be 2 buses when we will finish from 6:30 to 7 out of Maxxi to drive us to the Accademia for a cocktail, which is a reinforced cocktail. It's not just drink, as some of our foreigner guests asked us. In Italy, we tend to give both drinks and also some food so that we don't get drunk immediately, even though it wouldn't be that bad to do it. And the second day, tomorrow, we will start immediately with abstract presentations as well. Then after lunch break, we will have a keynote speech from Valerie Steele, which I thank from the deep of my heart to fly last night directly from New York to join us today. Thank you very much, Valerie. And then a very interesting panel with Valerie Steele, with Judith Clark, which I thank as well for coming, and Simona Sigrid-Reinak, which I don't see yet, but probably she has joined us already. And Stefania Ricci, thank you, Stefania, for joining us. Clara Tosi Panfili, moderated by Paolo Ferrarini. After a break, we will have another keynote speech from Alberto Cavalli, which is the director of Michelangelo Foundation, which is the organization that organized last year Homo Faber, that you might have heard about, as it was a very interesting and important venue in Venice that was based about heritage and high artisanal crafts. And then we will have the closing remarks. Last but not least, I would like to really thank from the deep of my heart our scientific committee that was not based just on Ian, Adrien, and me, but if you can come, Valerie, from Valerie Steele, Leslie Holden from Amphi, and Arcana Surana. Thank you so much. Arcana? Oh, you're stuck there. Sorry for that. It has been an intense work of selection, and it was very interesting to see the different opinions and the different point of view of our scientific committee that is really international. So thank you very much again for your hard work. It has been highly appreciated, and without you, nothing would have been possible. So thanks again. Okay, now it's time to start, I think. I will be the bad one keeping the time for this session. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be unfair. And I would like to call on stage Cornelia Loaf,